Welcome back to the Life of Doomer. This is a new series thing that I'm starting for my channel. It's the first video in a long time, and it's going to be a part of a bigger series called Journey to the West. So I'm going to give y'all a little back information of who I am. I think I mentioned that in one of my first videos on the channel, but I'm Chase DeMontez Washington Saunders, full name. I go by King Doomer. I'm an athlete, personal trainer, former collegiate athlete. What else? Business owner, and now trying to start this little YouTube thing. Excuse me. So this series called Journey to the West. I just want to simply tell everybody I've been blessed with an opportunity to go to California and train with a group of individuals that are working to become elite caliber athletes. And so it's a dream come true, and I'm taking my skill set, my gift, and my ability there, and I just want to share it to the world, and I want everybody to know how excited I am, and I want everybody to come on the journey with me. So in this little video of this series of Journey to the West, I'm just going to give you all a short synopsis of like who I am, what I've been through in my sport, what I've been through in my whole entire career for the last decade. And if y'all want to know more, just say it in the comments. You can DM me. I'm an open book. I will make a video specifically on specific topics within what I'm about to tell y'all now. So yeah, I've been running track for the last 10 years. I started in 2011, early probably 2010, whenever I was in 7th grade. And I didn't take it seriously then. I was running middle distance, the 8 in the mile, and I did not like it. I'm skinny. At the time, I was probably like one something. I wasn't 130, 140. So I was running those events, and I thought I could hang out with those kids, and I definitely couldn't. I just stopped going to practice. I stopped showing up, and I remember the coach pulling me to the side. Never forget Coach Riley. He pulled me to the side and was like, "You ain't make city county. You can always try again next year." And I looked at him and I was like a little about it, because I just stopped showing up. I stopped going to practice. I stopped doing all this other stuff in the third, because to me, I just was done running because I didn't like what I was doing. So I visit my dad every summer. He lives in Virginia, in rural part of Virginia, near West Virginia, and he has a lot of hills. He lives in the mountains, so he has a lot of hills. And I trained all that summer for like 2 months, or the 6 weeks I was there. Really, I was there for like 2 months. So I was training for that whole entire 2 months. To a point where like I used to run up my grandparents' they live on a mountain. Run up their mountain, run up my dad's driveway, bike all the time, lift weights, do whatever I could get myself into doing. Chop wood, do all of that, right? And mind you, I was about 12, 13, probably 13. Come back, and for what I did for those 2 months, I guess stayed all the way up to like March, because I kind of was doing a little bit more in between when I come home. We were doing a little parkour, because at the time I was big into watching YouTube like I am now, and at the time in 2011, parkour. 2010, 2011, parkour and Assassin's Creed was really big for me. And so I used to watch all the parkour videos. I used to watch all the Assassin's Creed videos, and was like, that was cool, so let me try it. So that's how I kind of stayed in shape. I go to middle school in 8th grade, and I told the coach, Coach Riley, that I want to do the 1-2 in the 4x1 and the 4x2, right? He told me I can't do all the events, but he told me to look up Usain Bolt. Never knew who that man was, so I looked him up. Became a fan instantly. Then I started studying the sport even more after that, because it just sparked my entire interest. So I remember first track meet in middle school. He put me in the 100, and he put me in the 4. Because I think a little bit earlier during that week, or during a training session, we had to do 300s. And we had to do 1 300 as fast as you can. All I know is I did the math in my head, broke it all down, because I didn't know anything about track. I did the math in my head. I was like, it's 400 meters to run around the track. It's 4 laps and you go a mile. Just being that weird nerdy kid. And I was like, okay, so 300 meters is 3/4 of the track. Boom, okay. So I'm just going to run straight curve. All right, cool. So I did that, left everybody on this dirt track, and don't know what time I ran, just ran it. And so this man tells me we had to go to a high school track to run in this middle school meet, and I got to run the 1 and the 4. I didn't want to do the 4 because to me the 4 was too long. I wanted to do the 1 too. I was a sprinter, me being like 120 pounds in my head, I'm a sprinter, right? So I go home, I tell my mom, I don't want to do the 4. I don't like the 4. 4 sucks. I don't want to do it. It's too long, I don't want to do it. I just suck it up and I deal with it because he's the coach, he know what he's talking about. I go do the 100. One of the kids, never forget this man. He was annoying to me. He begged me to borrow my spikes so he can do the 4x1. So I ran the 100, won the 100, let him borrow my spikes. Probably ran like a 12-second 100 for my first ever 100 ever. Let him borrow my spikes. And he ran the 4x1, handed me back my spikes. And I didn't realize like anything that had happened until I was running the 4. And I realized, why am I running wobbly, right? Won the 4. Check my spikes. He ran so hard, spikes came out my shoes. I'm like, how I run the 1? And there was spikes in my shoes. He run the 4x1, and all my spikes just leave my shoes but 2. I'm like, that don't make any sense. So never again let that man borrow my spikes. But I started running the 4 more often and the 1. And I remember one time we were at this track I used to go to and train a little bit in the area. And so we ran the 1. I was like, I'm Usain Bolt, right? I stuck my arms out at the end, at the finish line, and won my heat. My teammate, who's actually one of my good friends, he's like a brother to me, came out in the second heat, ran it, and beat the time I ran. And I was like, never again will I ever drop my arms and do that. But I remember being in middle school meets, not being aware of like who I am or anything crazy like that. I ran the 4, and I remember guys sitting up there telling me, yo, this guy's really fast, or they just whispering amongst themselves, and I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm really so oblivious because I'm just like, who's going to run? And then once I realized they were talking about me, I was like, oh. So I got out hard in the 4 and I ran. I just did my thing. You know what I'm saying? I did my thing. Never knew what the times were. Didn't know anything about nothing. Just ran, right? Ironically enough, we go to my high school that I ended up going to, and we run. And I had to run the 1. We had 2 guys. One guy I went to elementary school with and went to private school with. Well, not really elementary school, it was private school. And ironically enough, in like 2nd, 1st grade, we ran track then too. And I ran the 100, lost to some kids. I was hyped off Gatorade and didn't run it again because it was fun. I just lost to some white kids, and I didn't think I should have lost to them kids. I thought I was faster than them, but obviously I won't, and I won't pay attention to nothing else. I didn't understand the running thing at like 7, 8 years old. So, yeah. But let's detract a little bit, and then we'll get back to the middle school. In elementary school, though, I did sink all my time running on the playground. Not on the playground, but running around the track that we had at school instead of being on the playground because I did not like the politics of the playground. And like I said, I'll dive into more if somebody wants to know more about like my elementary school life and why I really started track for sure, and why it became my baby, my passion. But back to middle school. So these 2 guys, one I went to school with before, and another dude who I ended up going. We all went to high school together. Ended up going to high school together, but the other dude was one of the fastest guys in the city and county, whatever, right? Actually, both dudes were one of the fastest people in the city and county. I got 3rd. They went 1, 2, and boom. I said, you know what? I'm done with the 100. I'm tired of losing this race, right? So I go run the 4. And I just use that 100 as my warm up for the 4. And ironically enough, I ran 11 in that 100, and to me that was slow. I didn't know, like, to me that was slow. I got my first 100 ever, I ran 12. Then the next 100 at another meet I ran 11.7, and then the next meet after that, at this meet I ran 11 again. To me, that's slow, but you know, whatever, right? I go run the 4. This is actually being fully officiated in time. For some weird reason, I run 54. No training other than kind of what we did in middle school, which really wasn't much. I just ran it. Won it, ran it. All of a sudden, I started getting recruited by this particular AAU team. And I didn't have the funds to do that at the time. So, I didn't run with them. But went to high school. With all those people was weird, right? But the funny thing about that was that qualified me to be the fastest kid in the city county. Ran at that meet, didn't do too well. Actually, I ran the 4.2 that meet, didn't do too well. Ran 58. It's a story in and of itself. And then I go to high school, and high school, as freshman year, we do indoor, we do outdoor, and I get injured at the end of the year. But I did end the season with a 51.9 as my 400 time. And I was running consistent 53s after that. But as a freshman who actually was getting some type of training to run 51.9 from a 54, to me that was impressive. That was impressive, and that really made me kind of think I can do this. Then my sophomore year, the head coach told me, "Oh yeah, you can do cross country, and it'll help you better for the 4 and the 8." And I was like, all I heard was the 4. Everybody assumed you're skinny, you got some foot speed for the 4, but you ain't got enough foot speed for the 1 or 2, so you should run the 8. No, I've done it before. Well, I don't want to do it. Never wanted to do it. After I kind of realized I wasn't good at it, so I kind of stick to what I'm good at. And so I did cross country. That was a whole debacle in situation. We can talk about that later too. But that same year, we had to correct all this form stuff. We had to correct a lot of stuff, right? Ended up running 50.0, like 6 at the state meet by the end of the season. Because I made states. My sophomore year. And dropped like a whole second. Everybody told me at the AAU, because I decided I had enough money I saved up to pay for AAU. So I saved up my money, paid for AAU for myself. The coaches around AAU were telling me, hey, you could have ran 49. So my first year at AAU, and when I was up the coach that started recruiting me for this particular AAU team, was the AAU team I ended up going to. Because my coach at my high school was my AAU coach. And in my hair didn't want to switch up my coach. So, make a long story short, I ran AAU track, made some cool friends running AAU track, and I was running 50s all season. So I knew from my experience of paying attention in my freshman year, I saw how the kids from that went to AAU and they ran track in high school, they would come back 10 times faster, or they would maintain their endurance, or whatever they did, they maintained everything, so when they came back and they ran, they were good. So I wanted to be like them in that sense where I came back stronger. So I was running 50s. I ran my junior year. We went indoor. We did outdoor. Indoor, I ran like one of the fastest times in the state in the 500. And I ran a decent 300. And then that 500 put me in enough position to go to nationals and emerging elite, which is basically the JV version, I guess you want to call it, of nationals, because they have emerging elite, then they have the nationals people, and I ran a decent time that would have kind of put me in a good spot. And it was my first ever indoor 400, and it let me know, hey, I can hang out with these guys, not just in the emerging elite, but in the nationals, like regular nationals, right? So did that. Come back outdoor, had to drive from New York all the way to Charlotte, North Carolina. Like the whole, however long that trip from New York to North Carolina is, and had to run at another meet. Barely any sleep. Ran that next meet, ran the 400, ran 49.9. And I ran 50 in the prelim, ran 49.9 in the finish. Every race after that, I ran 49.9. And I was getting annoyed with myself. So I was like, why am I running 49.9? 49.9, 49.9. Next thing you know, I ran in the meet against one of the guys who ran for my AAU team and ran with him in middle school. Went to another high school. He qualified for the 200 because of his 300 that season. He was a senior and I was a junior. Ran against him in the 4. I went 48. And from that point on, I was running 48s in high school from that point on. Just kind of knocking the notch. Got that opportunity from running in high school, becoming conference champion, state runner-up, missing out on nationals because I was injured. I had a lot of injuries plaguing me during my high school career. Then getting able to have an opportunity to go to college. So I picked my first choice, which was Hampton University. Was there for 2 years and did not perform well. Like I said, we can dive into deeper if people want to know more. But was there, had to leave, left there, and had the opportunity to go to Western Carolina. Western Carolina, I went from running not so well at Hampton to in 9 weeks of training running dropping a complete second for my PR. Almost 2 seconds. That's how fast I was moving, right? And then in my 200, because mind you, my 200 times out of high school, was like a 22-1. Not blazing fast, but for me, it was fast enough to put myself in a good place in contention for a good 400, and for development purposes. So, did that. Western, I would drop down to 21.6, again, not blazing fast, and 47.2. And I ran up 100 right after running a 400, running a 47.400, and ran 10.8. So I did the math on all those times all correlate within themselves, and that was a blessing that I was able to do that in a 9-week time span of just training and then just racing myself into shape even more. So coach leaves Western, get a new coach, my favorite coach of all time so far. He hilarious, man. Y'all can look him up, Derek Atkins. He trained me in 2019. I did some funny stuff with myself, getting drunk for the first time, like really getting drunk for the first time, and trying to go to practice a couple days later, not knowing how to take care of my body, and kind of got injured again. My fault. But he had predicted me to run 46 and 21 low. All right. Didn't get a chance to do that, so my teammate did just that. Actually, he ran 46 and 20.8, and then watching him do that inspired me and let me know I can do what he did, if not better. And so that next year, 2019 into 2020, I was on it. Like, I was on it. In practice, I was running 20 seconds, damn near. I was running 46, almost 45 seconds in practice. Like, he was breaking stuff down. I was like, boom, boom, boom. Indoor, I was running 47s and 48s like they were cake. Like, I was chilling. 21s, like everything was coming into form. And then COVID hit. And my roommate told me, he suggested to me, you know what, you've been through all this coaching and stuff like that. You've been through all this different stuff. You think you can coach? I told him, nah, I don't want to coach. I never wanted to coach. I just wanted to be the athlete part, right? He was like, but there's everyday people that might need your help. And I said, you know what? You're right. And I sat back and I was like, I don't mind helping, whether it's kids get to their collegiate, high school, collegiate, or even whatever goals, I don't mind helping them do that. Or if it's just regular people trying to lose weight, get in shape, I don't mind doing that, because I spent, at this point in the game, 9 to 10 years developing not just myself, but learning from other coaches and training styles, and learning what works and what doesn't work, and just building a wealth of knowledge in multiple different avenues and areas, whether that be running, whether that be lifting, whether that be body weight control, body stability, and core control, whether that be nutrition and dietary needs. All of that I kind of formulated, figured out, and did that for the last 10 years. And so he suggested that. And so in that process of him doing that last year, I became a personal trainer. Not even just a personal trainer. I became a fitness coach that dabbles. I focus on specifically training in a, I won't say holistic way, but in a most functional way possible. And I focus on nutrition as well. So, and I have a nutritionist, certification in that. So I've been doing that on top of training myself, and so all of this has been like culminated into everything I've been doing for the last year now, it seems like. And like 2-3 weeks ago, I had a track meet just to see where I was at. It was in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I ran a 47.6 just to open up, and I ran a 21.2, which is my PR. Which I told myself, and I tell everybody this: I just want to be 200 runner. Just so happens to run the fourth. And at 21.2, I thought I ran 20 seconds. Honestly, I really felt like I ran 20 seconds. I'm gonna just take and say I ran 20 seconds, even though it was 21.2. We just whatever. But and again, these times are not super duper fast. 20 seconds is fast. 19 is fast, and I believe I can get there. 45, 44, 43, those are fast. But like I said, I believe I can get there. So that's why I'm taking this opportunity. But I ran those times just to see where I was at, with little to rest in between. And it really let me know while the Olympic trials is going on, I can do this. I just need more help. I called up my coach. Like I said, Derek Atkins is my favorite coach. Called him up and I said, yo, this is what I just did. While he's in Utah right now, doing what he got to do as his head coach job, I'm like, yo, this is what I did. This man said, you need a couple more races, you run 45. You need a couple more races, you run 20 seconds. I'm like, wow. So a friend of mine who went to Western while I was there, just, she plugged this information into me, telling me about this coach and giving me this opportunity, and I got in contact with him, and I seen his stats and what he can do, and this is why I'm taking this journey to the West. And like I said, it's a series. I want y'all to come with me. I'm trying to get out to LA County, just kind of see if I'm gonna like the place, see I'm get a feel for it, because I really and truly want to do this goal and this dream of mine, because all I really want in this world is to travel around the world doing what I enjoy doing, and that is running fast and helping other people achieve their goals, achieve their successes. And I can't do that by myself. I recognize that, realize that, and I just want the whole world to know how you can achieve anything you put your mind to. Not just I'm a testament to that, but anybody else in this world who's successful or wants to become successful, that's what you can do. So, like I said, this is going to be a series. When I do get a chance to get out there, I'm going to let y'all know some stuff. I'm going to let y'all see some stuff. But I just hope that everybody that wants to come on this journey can. And I appreciate all the support. I appreciate everything that is involved with this process and with this journey. So I just want to say, whoever's taking their time to watch this, thank you. I will keep y'all informed. I'll keep y'all updated. And like I said, if you want more information about what happened to me in elementary school, to why I kind of stopped running, and then why I reinvigorated in middle school, what my whole middle school career was like, because I gave tried to make a short synopsis, my whole high school career, my entire 5-year college career, my personal training, how that operates and how that works, and what I'm doing now, and what I'm trying to get to. I will give y'all all of that and more. Just let me know in the comments. Let me know and send me messages, whatever. Thank you.